Hello everyone, Coach Bill here, and welcome to this edition of the Get In and Win Weekly Huddle. It's the NFL Wild Card Round, and today is Wednesday, January 4th. It's the first Get In and Win Huddle of the 2017 year. And what we're going to do today is we're going to go through each of the 4 games that are going to be played on this Wild Card weekend to see if you can find betting value in these games. So, what we see here the games that are going to be played this week, and here we have the Oakland Raiders and the Houston Texans. We have the Miami Dolphins and the Pittsburgh Steelers. We have the Detroit Lions playing at the Seattle Seahawks, and we have the New York Giants going and playing the Green Bay Packers. So those are our 4 games for Wild Card Weekend. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here and I'm going to take a look at my worksheet that I always lay out. And we've seen them in all the previous huddles that we've done. I start with a worksheet which lists the games, and then I put the point spread in. And again, this is Wednesday, okay? This is Wednesday, and I'm going to use this point to emphasize the fact that you need to be careful when betting on sports to shop for the right line. So these are Wednesday's lines, okay? These lines, -4 in the Raiders Texans game, -8 for the Seahawks, the favorites in the Lions Seattle game. The Steelers are favorites at -10 in the Dolphins Steelers games, and the Packers are favorites at -4.5 in the Giants Packers games. Okay, so those are today's prices. As a sports bettor, you need to be very price conscious because, as I emphasize in my course, a half a point difference can make almost a 10% difference in your win rate. Okay, so you have to be very price conscious, especially during the playoffs. So I would not bet these games early in the week. I would wait. I would wait right up until game time because that eliminates a lot of uncertainty. And the reason why is we have injuries, we have maybe player suspensions. There's a whole host of factors that can come into play. So there's no reason really to bet them early unless you see a line here that you really, really love. But as I say, I prefer to be price conscious. There's plenty of other things to bet on this weekend. There's college basketball, there's the NBA, there's player prop bets. So don't just get so focused in that you have to bet on one of these games, okay? Betting involves finding value. That's what betting is all about. It's finding value. And there's no reason to bet early unless you see a point spread that you really like. Okay, that's enough of the commentary about finding value, okay? We just talked a lot about finding value. But now we're going to talk about how we're going to handicap the winners and losers of these games. And as you know from previous Get In and Win huddles, you know how important quarterback play is. And that's because turnovers and yards per pass are the facts and stats that matter in the NFL in determining who wins and who loses the game. So the first thing we're going to look at is quarterback play. And what's really unfortunate this week in Wild Card Weekend is that we have some backup quarterbacks playing because of injury. And right here with the Oakland Raiders, we see that Connor Cook, is their 3rd string quarterback, is likely going to start in this game. And Brock Osweiler, even though he started the season for the Texans, he would not have been their choice in this game. But that's because their backup, Tom Savage, got hurt and gave way again to Osweiler, who started the season, who then played so poorly that Savage came in and took his place, and now we're back to Osweiler again, okay? And then in this game here with the Dolphins and the Steelers, we know that Ryan Tannehill's out because of injury, so Matt Moore is starting in his place, okay? So quarterback play is important. Turnovers and yards per pass determine the winners and losers of the games, okay? So that's why I always look at the quarterback matchups before starting out. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to go through each of these games one at a time. We're going to go through the 3-step get in and win process and see if we see any value in these lines. Okay, we'll start off with the Raiders-Texans game. All right, and here, again, as I said, we have Connor Cook and Brock Osweiler. And we have the point spread at -4. this is really a difficult one for me when I look at the quarterback play. A third-string quarterback, a rookie third-string quarterback against a multi-million-dollar signee at the beginning of the year. But we all know how poorly Osweiler has played. But the Texans are at home, so you have to give the Texans the nod here because, number one, the Texans are at home, and number two is that Osweiler at least has more experience than Connor Cook. All right, but what we're going to do is we're going to quickly look over here at our value ratings for this game. Okay, and this was before we had the injury to Carr, the Raiders' starting quarterback. Okay, so this is where we were before we had the injury to Derek Carr. I had them as my 6th rated team. Okay, so they were playing at a 103. I had the Houston Texans at 100. That's a 3-point differential. The Texans were playing at home. So even if Carr had been playing this game, this would have been a pick'em game. Okay, so if we would have had the Texans because they get the 3-point boost at 100, we have the Raiders at 103. That would have made this a pick'em game. And what I want to say here is the reason I'm using this scale, and again, we've talked about this in previous get in and win huddles, is because during the 2016 and 17 NFL season, the value rating scale became compressed. And this reflects the compression of the value rating scale. As I've said before, this is really an unusual year. It's the first time I've seen it in about a decade where teams didn't play to these value ratings, okay? For 10 years, these numbers held constant. But this year, all year long, we saw how much parity has affected the NFL, and the value ratings have compressed. So again, with Derek Carr playing in this game, we would have been 103 for the Raiders, 100 for the Texans. That would have indicated that it was a pick'em game. All right, let's go over here and see what the score sheet would have said for this game. Raiders Texans. Move myself out of the way. With Derek Carr playing. Wow, look at this. The score sheet and the value ratings lined up perfectly here without making any adjustments. But again, this is with Derek Carr playing in the game, okay? I had this as a pick'em contest. So you have to believe, I mean, you can grind through these numbers yourself, but you would have to believe that the Texans, playing against a third-string quarterback in Connor Cook, can win at home and cover this spread. So it looks to me like the pick here would be the Texans, okay, if you were placing a bet, if you wanted to place a bet on this game. If I were evaluating these bets among a variety of other bets, as I've told you in the Get In and Win system, it's important to diversify your bets. You need to place at least 20 bets a week. I would probably pass on this bet just because of uncertainty. And we've talked again in previous huddles about uncertainty equals risk. But what we're going to do here is we're going to pretend like these are the only 4 options on the board, that we have to make a bet. How would we play these games if we had to make a bet? That's what we're going to analyze here, because I think that's what you want to know about. Okay, now let's move on to the next game. We've got the Lions playing the Seahawks, and we have the Seahawks as an 8-point favorite. We have Russell Wilson against Matt Stafford. So the first thing I think about when I see -8, I think, wow, that is a big number. That's a really big number. And I also then look at the quarterbacks and I say, well, it's probably a wash. Russell Wilson in the past would have had an advantage over Matt Stafford, but Matt Stafford is having a very good year, and for Russell Wilson standards, he's having an off year. So I would say this is a wash. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look at my value ratings and see what I've got here. So what I've got is I have the Seahawks as my 10th rated team, value rating of 102. The Seahawks are playing at home. That gives them a 105 on the value rating scale. And the Lions are on the road. Oh, I have them as the 11th rated team, which has them at a 102 also. So that's 102. So I say -3 is what it looks like here. So I have the Seahawks favored by 3 points on my value ratings. Now let's go take a look and see what the unadjusted score sheet says. So got to go here, score sheet, unadjusted, Lions, Seahawks. Here we go. I put in the season average statistics and unadjusted. Wow, look at this. It shows me that the Seahawks are going to win this game by the score of about 27 to 18. That's a 9-point differential. That's quite different than what I've got on my value ratings. Okay, so we've also talked about the sections 1 and 2 of the score sheet being so important. That would be the passing game and the giveaways, takeaways. So what I'm going to do here is slightly adjust the giveaways and takeaways and say that I do believe that Matt Stafford, he will throw an interception in this game. So I'm going to put that here. I believe Russell Wilson, because of his playoff experience, will be very careful with the ball. And I believe, let's just say the Seahawks don't have any turnovers. And let's say that the Lions have 1. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Oh, wow, look at this. 30. It now says 30 to 17 in favor of the Seahawks. But my value ratings say I've only got a 3-point differential. That would indicate, with that big a difference, that large a difference, that you would pass in the get in and win system because you don't have alignment between your value ratings here and your score sheets. But again, the game we're playing today is to make a pick. We need to make a pick here. And we know that during the NFL season, the point spread has not had the impact that it has had in the past on these games. So I would take the Seahawks here at home to win and cover, even though 8 points is a lot to give. Boy, I'd really have to, if I were going to make that bet, I'd really have to get comfortable with this score sheet. I'd really have to go in here and grind these numbers, okay? The other thing I want to show you is even if I think they're going to win by 13 points, let's go over to my margin of safety table. Get out of the way here. The line on the game is -8. So the posted line is -8. Here's another way to look at this. The posted line is, I got to get way out of the way. All right, the posted line is -8, which is over here. Okay, posted line, but I think it's -13. Let's just say I go with my score sheet. Boy, that is only, here we go, -8, -13, a 10% margin of safety, which again tells me that that's not enough to place a sports bet. But again, we're playing the game of, we're going to bet all of these games. So in this game, I would go with the Seahawks at home and give the points. Okay, Steelers, Dolphins. Again, here's another game, 10 points. 10 points is a lot of points to give in the NFL. That is a touchdown and a field goal. But we have the Dolphins starting their second string quarterback, Matt Moore, who is a good reserve quarterback, but he is no Ryan Tannehill. So let's go over here and see what my value ratings would have said about this game. Value ratings. This is if Tannehill were playing. It would be 102 for the Dolphins. Steelers 105, but we'll get this out of the way here. Steelers get 3 points up to 108 because of the home field advantage. The Dolphins 102, 6 points. Tannehill plays. Okay, that's a 6-point differential. Let's see what my score sheet says about this game. Okay, again, Tannehill plays. That's what these statistics show. Score of the game, 30 to 21. That's with Tannehill playing. That's a 9-point differential. Let me go back over here and see what I had here. That's a 6-point differential. So directionally, I have alignment. I have a big difference between the Steelers and the Dolphins, even with Ryan Tannehill playing. But they have Matt Moore at quarterback, okay? The line is -10 on this game. Again, I hate to go with all favorites, but we see that there was a big difference between the Steelers and the Dolphins before before the Tannehill injury, or before considering the Matt Moore factor. So I think I have to go Steelers -10. But boy, I would be watching these lines closely to see if I could get something better as we got closer to game time, to see if the lines compressed a little bit. See if this one moved to -7 or -6. This one gets down to -9, and I think I'd jump on it. Okay, here's what I think is the game of the weekend: the Packers and the Giants. The Green Bay Packers versus the New York Giants. The Packers are at home -4.5. Okay, let's see what my value ratings say about this game. Value ratings. I have the Packers. Again, let me clear these out. Okay, I have the Packers at 103. Okay, I'm the 7th best team, 103. They're at home, 106. I have the Giants also. I have them as the 8th best team, so that's 103. So I have a 3-point differential there. Okay, 3-point differential. Now let's go over and see what my unadjusted score sheet tells me about this game without making any adjustments. I've got, wow, look at this, 26-22 Packers, 4 points. So my value ratings and my score sheet line up again. Wow. And what's even more interesting is it's almost right on the line of the game. That means that there really isn't any margin of safety in this game unless I go down in here and start really fooling around with I'm going to fool around a little bit with the passing yardage, because I think that Eli may go at 7 yards per pass, but let's say that Aaron Rodgers really returns to playoff form, and let's put him in at 7.2. Let's say that he is really careful with the ball. No turnovers here. We get Eli throws a pick because he's on the road in Green Bay in the cold weather. Let's see what we get. Now we get 32-21. Let's see. Let's throw a fumble in here for Green Bay and see what happens. 30-23. Still a Packers win. Let's go look at this. Let's just say that's 30-23. Let's say I like that. I like what I've done here. I'm really confident in it. I know I don't have alignment with my value ratings, but let's go over here and see what I've got. I have 30-23, 7-point differential. I have 4.5 point spread. Margin of safety, let's look at that. Okay, I have 7 points for my predicted line right here. I have 4.5 for my posted line. Geez, 11% margin of safety. Only 11%. Again, we should pass, but we're playing the game today of make a bet. You have to make a call one way or another. So I'm making a call here. Okay, Packers and Aaron Rodgers at home. Okay, but when I stand back and look at this, I know that I'm not supposed to pick all favorites, especially these high point spread favorites. So I really want to be careful if I'm going to make these bets. I really need to focus. I need to grind those score sheet numbers some more to make sure I'm really confident in where it's going to end up. Okay, I think you understand the process that we go through with the get in and win system. A 3-step process: value ratings, score sheet, margin of safety, and in the NFL you start off with looking at the statistical leading indicators for the NFL. That would be quarterback play, which then the derivatives of those are turnovers and yards per pass. Okay, so this has given you, I think, a really good overview of the get in and win system. I think we've had a really in-depth look at these games this weekend. You get a sense of how I'm starting to look at them. Again, things may change as we get closer and closer to game time. I'll be back with just a few concluding comments. Okay, I'm out of my little box and I'm on to my desktop. Boy, does that little thing annoy me, because it really constrains me in what I can talk to you about. Okay, so here we are. We're headed in to wild card weekend in the NFL. Can you believe the entire season's over? But here we go into the playoffs, where the real money's made, where the games get so much more exciting. So it's wild card weekend. It's life or death. Here we go in week 17. And what I want you to focus on, as you know, is you need to think about, from a football statistic play, quarterback play. Quarterback play is so important in the NFL, not only in who wins and loses the games, but in who wins and loses their bets. We've talked about that continuously in these weekly huddles. Think about quarterback play. Then also think about giveaways and takeaways. Giveaways and takeaways determine who's going to win the game. Along with quarterback play, along with yards per pass, it's giveaways and takeaways in the NFL. Okay, those are your two key statistics and the things that you should be thinking about when you're watching the games this weekend and enjoying them. Okay, so what I want you to do during Wild Card Weekend, I want you to have fun. I wish you good luck. And above all, may the odds be with you.